So a few weeks ago, I shot a video of my engine. I was getting a leak from the water seal on the water pump. And it was coming out of the little grooves in the back, the seeping, I call them seeping slots or whatever. So I tried to, well, I did remove the cover. I removed the impeller, took the water out. This is how you also drain the water pump. But when I got the impeller out, there was what looked like a backing plate in the back of this Jabsco water pump on my Perkins M20 engine, by the way. And the backing plate, it looked like I could remove it, but I didn't want to force it. So I put everything back together, put the impeller back on, and then went sailing. But now, after doing a lot of research and talking with the people over at Parts for Engines in the UK, they said, yes, absolutely, that's a backing plate. And it may be because of the years and so on and so forth that it was probably never removed at all for 27 years. It's a 1995, by the way. But he said, yeah, you give it a little bit of force and you can get that out there. So that's what I'm going to do today. I ordered all the parts from Parts for Engines in the UK. It took about, believe it or not, even though it's in the UK, I'm in Montreal, Canada, by the way. It took like a week, 5 days to get here in Montreal. So that's great. At the same time, I'm not going to talk about those today, but I also ordered new engine mounts for this engine as well. So there's one engine mount that's a little bit of a concern. It's still very good, but it's a little bit of a concern. So I said, if I'm going to order something from all the way from the UK, I'm not going to take chances. I'm going to go ahead and get those engine mounts now. So whether I change those this year or next year, doesn't really matter. I know I'll have them in stock, but I'll do a video on those some other time. So I'm now going to go ahead and drain the water pump. Okay, so to empty the water pump, what you need to do, first of all, you got to remember, you got to close the seacock, so the intake of the water, the through hull. So I got that shut off. To empty, all I did is I unscrewed or untightened each one of the screws a little bit at a time to release the cover a little bit. And as you see, it's draining into a bowl here. There you go. There's not going to be much water depending on your engine, because it's just basically emptying whatever's above the water pump. Here's the intake. Here's where it goes towards the engine for the cooling system. So I have a little bowl underneath. By the way, it's our secret. Don't tell my wife. I use one of our salad bowls. I'll just wash it and she won't be the wiser. So that's it. So I'm going to let that drain. In the meantime, while that's draining, I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you the kit that I got from Parts for Engines out of the UK. And I'm going to go through the whole kit and show you what I got from them. Okay, so this is the kit that I got from Parts for Engines. And it's for the Perkins 100 series Panera M20, fits the M25, M30, M35 as well. So I'm actually, because of that, I'm actually going to post this on not only the 270 Catalina group, but also on the Catalina group, period. So in the kit, now there's different kits. You can order the kit where you just get the impeller and that's it. Or you can order a kit where you have the impeller, the water seal, and so on and so forth. I ordered the complete kit that included a new cover, because as you'll see when I remove the cover off mine, I had noticed there was a lot of scoring on the original cover. So I figured if I'm going to do this, I might as well put the new cover on. So that came in this envelope over here, and there's that part number. In case you ever want to order just the cover, there's the part number there. The kit itself also comes with a new gasket, of course. It comes with a new impeller. I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to keep that as a backup, because I did change my impeller just last year. So, but there's the part number in case some of you guys are looking for that. And then it comes with, of course, a kit of lubrication for the impeller as well as the water seals. It comes with the bearing kits, 6 new screws for the cover. Now the 6 new screws come with the standard kit, and not necessarily if you just ordered the cover. So again, an advantage. Here's a little washer that goes in all of that. And this is the water seal as well as the oil side seal. You'll notice I checked, the numbers are exactly the same. So in this case, I don't need to worry about which is which. And the water seal, just in case you guys don't know, within here, you can hardly see it, but inside the groove here, there's actually a spring all around. And that's what keeps the pressure onto this shaft. So as it turns now, to keep it from the water and all that. So that's the kit. As you can see, it includes everything that you need to rebuild this water pump. What is probably going to be my project either in the fall after haul out or in early spring before we put the boat in the water. So at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that while I was at it ordering from the UK, I decided since they had these in stock, these are brand new engine mounts, because I am concerned about one of my engine mounts. It's still pretty good, but I don't think it's going to cause me a problem. But I'm thinking of changing my, not just one, but I might as well change all the engine mounts. So these are the engine mounts that I got for the Perkins. Yeah, in great shape. And it came with, I took it, you can either order it with the engine mounts only, or if you want they have the kit where you have the 4 engine mounts and everything, all the stainless steel bolts and all the new stuff. So I'm kind of anal, so I said if I'm going to change something, I'm going to change everything. After all, those engine mount that's on there now, along with the bolts and the risers and all that stuff, these are 27 years old. So if I'm going to go ahead and change them, I'm going to change everything. Okay, so I've got all the water is drained. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove these screws here. I'm just going to empty this in the sink. There we go, because I'm going to use the bowl now to put my screws. So as you saw a second ago in the kit that I ordered from Parts for Engines in the UK, almost every one of the kits, whether you buy the basic kit or the complete rebuild kit for the water pump, actually includes 6 brand new brass screws. So I'm not going to put those back in, the ones I just removed, but I'm going to keep them as a backup, as I will also the cover. So I'm going to discard this because it's no good anymore. And here's the inside of that cover I was telling you about a moment ago, and why I ordered a new cover. So you see, I can feel the scoring here, the wear. It's still in fairly good shape. I mean, I can sand the hell out of it and make it nice and smooth. But I figured while I was at it, let me get a new cover. Now I'm going to keep this one for sure as a backup. You never know. Okay, so now I've removed the cover. Now I want to remove the impeller. So the impeller, I don't have an impeller thing, but I did remove it not long ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently, very gently, just pull it out. And what I use is I pull all the little veins very gently, just to sort of coax it out. There we go. There we go. There we go. Just slowly, just taking my time. There's no rush here. I don't want to tear anything. It's a brand new impeller, as I said before. So by just doing it gently, taking my time, I'm not going to damage anything. And I'll be able to reuse this impeller for sure. There we go. It's slowly giving. It's slowly coming out, as you can see. There we go. There you go. Slowly. There you go. So now, in inspecting it, I see that everything's in good shape. There's no cracks anywhere. There's no sign of wear. I didn't expect any. As I said, I changed this one last summer. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside because I'm actually going to reuse that. Now, to get to the back plate, so let me show you this. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So that's the inside of the water pump. So as you can see, back here, where you see a little notch there, that's actually a backing plate. So to get to the backing plate, the first thing I gotta do, I gotta remove this part over here. This is what we actually call the cam. So the cam comes off with a little screw on the side, and I'll do that in a minute. But this plate in the back here, it actually comes off by just pulling that. And that's why the last video I did, I stopped there. I didn't want to force it, but I'm told that, yeah, it's probably just stuck in place because, you know, it's been like 27 years or whatever. To just give it a little coax and it'll come out. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm actually going to remove the cam, and then I'm going to try and remove the back plate so that I can access that the water seal. Okay, so to get the cam off, there's a little screw on the side here. So I'm just going to unscrew that. Oh, I need something a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay. And here comes the cam. There you go. So I'm just going to grab that. So that's what the cam looks like. There you go. And you don't have to worry about getting it back in the right place, upside down or whatever. There's a little notch right there. So as you can see right there, there's a notch. So you can't get wrong. It only fits in that way. There's a notch at the back of the pump here to make sure you put it in back in the same spot, in the same direction. Okay, so I've got that. I'm just gonna, now don't want to lose the screw, so I'm just gonna screw that one back in here. There you go. So that's what that looks like, the little screw. Okay. Now the back plate is there, and I'm gonna try and see what I can do about coaxing it out. So I don't want to bend it. I'm a type of guy that if something doesn't come, I get concerned, and I don't want to force anything. I tell myself there's always a way. There's got to be a way where it went in. Sorry about that. My phone fell down in the middle of that video. So I was saying, so I want to try and get the back plate out. And one of the things I don't like doing, I do not like forcing things. I always tell myself, if something went in, there's got to be a way to remove it without forcing it. I understand the guys in the UK told me that it might need just a little bit of coaxing to get it out. So I'm going to see how. You see, it's not giving. So this is a concern for me. I don't want to force it. And by the way, I haven't seen a single video either on YouTube or any group video that shows a water pump rebuild and seal removal, water seal removal replacement. None of them have a backing plate. I haven't seen a single one. If you guys find one, by all means, tag me or let me know in the comments. And very interesting. So that motivated me even more to make this video to show, you know, hopefully I'll get that backing plate out and encourage people to go ahead and do it themselves. So I'm going to get a few extra tools and get back with the video in a moment. Okay, so what I did is I got my X-Acto knives, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to very carefully go just along the edge at the bottom where the plate meets there's a circular inside, just sort of like to give it a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a shake on whatever it could be sealed on. There you go. And now I have this tool here, which is kind of like a hook. I don't know if you can see that. It's a hook. This is actually, by the way, this is for body shops where they drill a hole in a fender, put that in there, and there's like a little hammer here, and you would boom. So it's basically a dent puller is what this is. But I like the little hook. It's a small one. And so now I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to coax it up. There we go. There you go. So now I've got the plate off. So here's the backing plate right off here. So as I can see, I can feel there's a little bit of rust. So I bought some very, very fine water paper. So I'm going to sand that and make sure that's really nice and clean. Okay, very happy about that. I didn't force anything. I do see the water seal in there. So one of the ways to remove the water seal is actually through the seeping slots behind the water pump. And it's kind of like a tool like this that I'll need, where I can put it in there and push it gently all around and slowly push the seal out of there. So I'm going to see if I can do it with this, and then if not, I'll actually make myself a little tool, probably use an old key ring or something like that and shape it so that I can get in there. So I don't know if this will let me get into if this will be too big to go in and push the water seal out. I'm getting it in. I'm just not sure if it's going in deep enough to touch the. Okay, so I am seeing movement. I am seeing some movement. So let me see if I can keep coaxing it around. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to go all around. I don't want to push it all out from one side only. I certainly don't want to reach in there with a needle nose pliers and see if I can pull it out, because you don't know what's going to happen. What if I don't get it all out? I'm going to be stuck without a water pump here. So I'm going to see if I can coax that in there. No, it doesn't. Okay. So this part is actually too big for the work that I'm doing. So I'm going to use probably like a key ring, those little metal key rings. I'm going to unwind it and actually make myself a little tool. So give me a couple of seconds here. Okay, so I found a little retainer ring. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to unbend it and keep a part that I can bend it and reach in there to gently convince the water seal to come out. So I'm just going to bend this into shape here. All right, so there you go. I unbent it. Hopefully that works. If not, I'll adjust it. And by the way, when I'm done, I'm actually going to keep this and put it in my my kit with my spare impellers and the seal, so I won't have to do this ever again. Okay, so let's see if that works. And I may have to just adjust it a little bit. So do I feel it? Yeah, I do feel it. Okay. So I'm seeing it move. Could be a question of also this seal's been in there for a long time, so it will probably need some coaxing. I'm having a hard time holding, so I'm actually going to bend it to give me a little bit more, my fingers, a little bit more control. Okay, well, actually, now I've done something bad. I've actually gone through it, so the little point is actually sticking out. So now I'm basically I'm now committed to change this seal. So let me just pull that out. Now let me see if I can just grab it. No, okay, so can I do this? Now that I've got the hole in there. There you go. Let's see if I can get it from this side. Okay, slowly, very slowly coming out. So this is going to be a little long. And I've got to go in each hole and slowly push it out. Just go around slowly. So I'm not going to record this part, but it's coming out a little bit every time I'm touching it, for depending on which seeping slot that I'm using. So I'm seeing it's coming out. So I'm just going to keep doing that till it comes out, and then I'll keep recording. Okay, so it turned out that this little thing here that I just made really doesn't give me enough strength to pull it, and it was actually making holes through the water seal, even though I'm changing the water seal. So I'm actually not going to keep this. So what I did find out though is that this little tool here, and this is about a ½ inch, by the way, I was able to use this. So what I was doing is in each hole, I'm going to go in like this, and I would just turn it, and then slowly it was working. So it's just that I didn't want to be too aggressive. Like I said before, I don't really like being aggressive on things, but I realized with a little bit more elbow grease, it is working, and it is slowly coming out and sliding out of the, if it's a little cavity here, and there you go. So let me just stop that there, and let me show you how this works. So now I have my tool, and you'll see deep down, I don't know if you can see that, but the seal, let me put the light on, the seal is starting to come out. So there it is right here. So it's slowly coming out of the whole cavity as I go around each seeping hole right there. There's a seeping crack right there. So I'm going to just put that in there. Oop. There you go, like that. And now I'm just going to go ahead and turn it, and you'll see. Hold on here. Oops, sorry, trying to control the camera at the same time here, guys. So there you go. So now I'm going to just pull. There you go. So you see, it just pulled out the seal. So there's a seal right there now, and I've got enough out. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to pull that off with my needle nose. Again, I'm not going to be too aggressive. I'm just going to go around each side, and as you see, it is coming out. There you go. There you go. There you go. So there's a water seal right there. And if you remember, when I was showing you the thing, there's a spring inside of there. So I don't know if you can see, if there's not enough focus right there, but I can see anyways that there's debris in there. Yeah, it's in bad shape. So the water seal is a good thing that we're doing this. And there it is now. So now I'm going to clean that up a little bit, sand a little bit of sanding over here, just to make sure, not too much. I don't want to leave any scuffs or grooves or anything to have problems with water again, but I like keeping things nice and clean. So like I said also at the beginning, so I got myself some sandpaper. It's actually 400, so it's a very, very, very fine. It's just a little, clean this up a little bit here, and also that famous back plate. I'm just gonna sand some of that rust off here. It is brass, so it's just surface corrosion, but it is a non-ferrous metal, so I know it's not rust that actually make things fall apart. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean that up here. I'm going to tear myself a piece of paper, so there you go. And I'm just going to go, there you go. That's it. I don't need to go crazy with this. Like I said, I just want to make sure I have a nice flush fitting for my new cover and a new seal that's going to go in there. There you go. There you go. Pass my finger around, see if I feel anything. There could be a problem. Not really, so that's good. So now I'm going to go ahead and just sand my thing here. There you go. There you go. And the plate, by the way, the plate, it can only go in one way. So if you remember, the cam that I was telling you about before had this little notch right here. So that notch actually goes onto the backing plate right like that. So I don't know if you can see it, but there's a notch right there. So that means even the backing plate, it's impossible to put it in the wrong direction. So, but pay attention to it. You don't have to take everything apart or just fiddle around or try to force the cam back in. There's no reason to force anything, like I said before. And yeah, very happy with it. I'm just going to use my pliers because this is where I actually was able to pry the backing plate out. I'm using my pliers just to flatten that out a little bit here. I don't want that to start damaging the impeller as well. So. Okay, so I got everything nicely cleaned up. There you go. I'm just going to take some of that stuff out of there. There you go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put the new water seal. Again, I got to remember that there is a bad side and a good side. So this is actually the side where you have the groove and we see the spring inside. You probably can't see it within this video, but there's a little spring inside on the inside here. So this is actually facing the impeller, actually, in this case, the backing plate, right? So I'm going to slide that in there. There you go. And there you go. And slowly, again, the same way I removed it, you just got to push it in slowly. There you go. I'm going to use they say to use a socket. So that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to use one of these here. So that should fit in there. There you go. No, no, not long enough. So I'm going to get a longer one. There you go. One for spark plugs. So it should be the same diameter. So I should be able to get that in there. There you go. And gives me a little bit more leverage too as well. So just slowly going around, up and down. I don't want to force it in, so it's slowly going in. And that's the way you want to do this. You don't want to force anything. There you go. And kind of like tightening up the screws or the lug nuts of a car, you want to go around gently all around, slowly. There you go. And it's got to be flush with the back of the pump. So I'm going to keep going until it is. And then as you remember, I have a backing plate to put in there as well. There you go. We're almost there. There you go. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Nice. A little bit more on this side here. Okay. So actually, one of the advantages of using the deep socket, the spark plug socket, is actually I'm realizing it because it's a little bit bigger. I can go all around, and I'm actually feeling when it's actually flush with the back of the water pump where the water seal is. So when I start feeling that, I know my water seal is actually flush in its hole. There. Very nice. There you go. I'm going to see if I can get it in a little bit deeper. Nice. Very, very happy with this. Going much better than I anticipated. Now that I knew you can get the backing plate out, makes everything a lot simpler. There you go. So let me show you what that looks like. So there you go. So the backing plate is complete. Sorry, not the backing plate, but the seal is completely flush with the back of the plate here. So if I pass my finger, it's all good. So now I'm ready to put back the backing plate and the cam. So as you remember, I said that the backing plate had a little notch over here. So there you go. So that means it only goes one way. By the way, I did clean it and I sanded it and took out all the grit out. There you go. There you go. And now just to make sure that we've got that right, this has to come up a little bit here. So I'm just gonna, there you go. There you go. So there you go. So I wanted that little groove over here in the backing plate, I wanted that to be really even between both inputs so that at the cam, that's where the cam's gonna fit. So now let me get the cam. Take the screw out of the cam. There you go. Okay, so now the cam. So there's the groove that you see on the cam. Right there. So that goes right in there like that. Oop. Like that. There you go. And now I'm going to put the screw that goes in here. And I don't have to worry about, is this all lined up? Because when I put the screw in, there's only one way. And because of the little notches that we saw, I know everything's going to be in the right place. There you go. Oop. So I got to do this with both hands. Hold on a second. Okay, so now there's a screw there. And I'm just going to go ahead and line up the cam. And it is lined up. So now I'm going to go ahead and screw that in. Again, not forcing anything, just until I feel it. There you go. Okay, so it's cut on. So now I know that because the screw is started over here to hold the cam, I know everything is going to be in place as well. So now I got to go tighten that nut. There you go. That's nice and tight. The backing plate is in place. Now I'm ready to put back my my impeller. There you go. So now the impeller this is the intake. This is the outtake. So what I want to make sure is the water goes from in here and this way. So I got to make sure that these vents are going this way as well. So, and there's my groove here for the little screw that fits right into this groove here. So we're going to go like this. I'm going to just bend this one and this one. And I'm just going to slowly, gently push it in. There you go. Again, slowly, just like we pulled it out, remember? There you go. And there she's in. She's in. So let me show you this from up close. There you go. So there you go. So the idea is as the cam turns, it sucks water into this big panel and into this big vent over here. It's bent. It sucks it in, goes this way, and as it squeezes out through here, it squeezes the water upwards into the cooling system. So that's how that's how the impeller works. All right, good. Let me put you back in your stand here so you can see what I'm doing. There you go. So now all I need to do really is I just got to put my gasket in, and there's no way to get it wrong because there's the cam over here. So there's the silhouette of the cam. So it goes right there, and I can see that it shapes it. And here's the new cover. So the new cover is brand new, so there's no right way of putting it, but I like things to look straight. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that where it says Jabsco there, right? I don't know if you can see that. There you go. I guess you can see it now. I'm going to make sure that's upright as well. So, and it basically tells you the rotation. So there's the outlet port. So it comes this way, you see? And then if you were going the other way around, it would go that way. So that's a rotation. So there's my rotation over here for things. So go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and actually, there's only one way to put it. So if I try to put the letter straight, the holes don't line up. So they actually want to line up with the intake and output of hoses over here. So that means there's only one way to put this. So I'm going to go ahead here. I got my brand new screws. Remember your gasket. You want your gasket to be in the right spot. So there you go. So now I know when I put my screw in here, it will hold the gasket. I'm going to go ahead and put my, at the opposing end, put the another screw here. And by putting it lightly, I'm actually lining up the gasket holes as well. There you go. So basically, I'm not going to keep shooting the video. There's no point. I mean, you guys understand. I'm going to go ahead and put each screw. I'm going to hand tighten them. And very important. So just like the lug nuts of your tires when you're changing, I'm not going to tighten each one after the other. I'm actually going to just do 1/8 of a turn and then alternate each screw. So that way I'm making sure that there's an even pressure all around the plate for a nice, even, flat, flat-to-flat surface over here. If you over-tighten one screw only, you end up possibly warping something, even if it's just a hairline, and then you're going to have a problem with the water and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and put all my screws back in, and like I said, start by hand tightening, and then one by one, very gently, just tighten up each one by alternating every second one and come back. And that's all I'm going to do. So listen, I hope this video was helpful for anybody else as a water pump out there with a back plate. So hope you enjoyed it. If you did, well, you know what to do. Give me a like or something like that. All right. Have a great day. Enjoy your sailing. Not sure if you can hear me, but no more leaks. No more leaks whatsoever. Perfect. And the other thing I did is I made sure I went in the back of the boat to make sure that there was water coming out of the exhaust. So I know that the new water seal is perfect.